A target amount of 1,000 Amazon employees reportedly plan to walk off the job. Half of U.S. public approves of Washington's arms deliveries to Ukraine in the war's second year. Now, I got to ask you guys, do you approve of the U.S. sending more money and more weapons over to Ukraine? I highly doubt that this poll was accurate. Now, here's why the U.S. doesn't have to pay off its $31 trillion mountain of debt, at least according to Paul Krugman. We're going to dive into that one. And two automakers have agreed to a class action lawsuit settlement that is worth up to $200 million. Now, the question is, do you drive one of these cars? Because later in this video, I'm going to be discussing with you guys who may be eligible to receive up to $6,125 in compensation checks. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Ron here. Hope you guys are doing very well. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel. And while you guys are at it, go ahead and smash that like button. I would totally appreciate that. So guys, half of the United States public approves of Washington, D.C.'s arms deliveries to the Ukraine in the war's second year. I highly doubt that this is true, but like the blue and yellow flags that have popped up around the United States when Russia invaded Ukraine 15 months ago, United States popular support for Washington, D.C.'s backing of the Ukraine has faded a little bit, but remains widespread, at least according to a survey by the University of Chicago's Harris School of Public Policy. So it found that half of the people in the United States support the Pentagon's ongoing supply of weapons to the Ukraine for its defense against Russian forces. That level is nearly unchanged in the past year. And get this, guys, while about a quarter are opposing to sustaining the military lifeline that has now toppled $37 billion, big majorities among both Democrats and Republicans still believe Russia's attack on the Ukraine was unjustified, according to the poll. I got to ask my audience, do you support more money, more weapons, more efforts going over to the Ukraine? Or should the efforts be turned to the American people here? Do we deserve to be neglected to the extent that we have been? Or should we continue our focus? Should the government, should the White House continue their focus on providing resources, U.S. taxpayer money, armed forces, ammunitions over to the Ukraine? Just drop me some comments down below, and let's just make it really, really simple. If you think that we should send more money to the Ukraine, just say yes in the comment section down below. If you disagree, just say no. We'll just keep it super simple. So here's why the United States doesn't have to pay off its $31 trillion mountain of debt, at least according to Paul Krugman. So basically, the United States government debt can't be compared to something like a household's finances, according to him. So he's saying that the U.S. doesn't actually have to pay off the $31 trillion in debt, hitting back at the idea that the government finances can be compared to household balance sheets in an article weeks before the U.S. possibly defaults on some obligations. Though individual borrowers are individual borrowers like me and you, just common folk, right? Though individual borrowers are expected to pay off debts, the same is not true for governments, he says. That's basically because, unlike people, governments don't die and they gain more revenue each and every single passing generation. Well, yes and no. I mean, if our GDP were to decline and the tax rates were to stay the same, then the government's revenue would go down. So that's not entirely true right there. He says, quote, governments then must service their debts, pay interest, and repay principal when bonds become due, but they don't necessarily have to pay them off. They can issue new bonds to pay principal on old bonds and even borrow to pay interest as long as overall debt doesn't rise too much faster than the revenue. So, though the debt to GDP ratio has hovered around 97% last year, interest payments on that money, interest payments on that debt is only around $395 billion, at least according to the Office of Management and Budget, or around 1% last year. Now, historically, it is unusual for governments to pay off large debts, such as the case with Great Britain, which was largely held onto the debt it incurred as far back as the Napoleonic Wars. Well, Congress now has less than 2 weeks, folks, less than 2 weeks to raise the borrowing limit before the government could potentially run out of cash. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has warned. Now, we've been hearing these warnings, folks. The time is clicking. The time is ticking down to the wire here, and we're getting down to a matter of days. A default on the country's obligations would mean severe catastrophe for financial markets. And I don't see a single expert arguing that. No good. I can't imagine any good things coming from this. Now, let's see what $100,000 per year salary looks like after taxes in your state. Now, numerous reports have been coming out that more and more people earning $100,000 per year, six-figure salaries, are living paycheck to paycheck. Can you believe that? Now, many people would love to earn six figures per year, but to think of someone making six figures, $100,000 a year, $150,000 a year, $200,000 a year, living paycheck to paycheck seems almost impossible for many people. Let me know if you guys think that living paycheck to paycheck, making well over $100,000 a year can you even do that? So a six-figure salary is a goal for many people. However, even if you're fortunate enough to make six figures, to make a six-figure salary, your take home may be a lot less after taxes. All right, so let's hear the argument, right? So if federal taxes seem to take a big chunk, there's also FICA or FICA deductions. You got Social Security taxes, and you might also have to pay state and local taxes. Of course, you live in the state of Florida, maybe the state of Nevada, you wouldn't have to pay state income taxes. I don't know if Texas has state income taxes. I don't remember. But anyway, so when we then used an in-house income tax calculator and to calculate the effective and marginal tax rate of income on $100,000 income in every state. Now, I'm not going to go through every single state, but let's just say you lived in Alabama, you were making $100,000 a year. So if you lived in Alabama, as a single filer, you take home $73,000. As a married filer, you take home $79,000. If you lived in Alaska or Arizona, for example, take-home salary for single filers would be $75,913. Arizona married couples or married filers would have been taking home $82,000. So let's skip to California. California is taking a big chunk. So if you made $100,000 in California, you would take home $72,000 as a single filer or $81,000 as a married filer. If you happen to live in the state of Florida, you would take home more money at $78,000 as a single filer and $84,000 per year as a married filer. So I got to ask you guys, do you think that you could get by making $100,000 per year, or do you think that you would find yourself also living paycheck to paycheck, since $100,000 per year apparently is rather tough to get by on? You guys hit me up in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Now, Amazon employees are reportedly planning to walk off the job over its return to office mandate and layoffs. Let's talk about it, folks. So some Amazon employees in Seattle are making plans to stage a walkout later this month. And on Monday, some Amazon staffers have begun distributing Slack and email messages calling for other workers to join the protest at the company's headquarters on May 31st. So that's just a couple days out. This one-day walkout aims to address employee concerns over the company's return to office directive, as well as recent layoffs from Amazon and Amazon's impact on climate change. And the event coordinators told the Post that they need at least 1,000 Amazon employees based in the Seattle area to participate in the protest. I don't know what happens if, let's just say, they only get 900 employees. Does the whole thing get called off? Or is it kind of like, all right, we're close enough to $1,000. We'll still do this protest. We'll still do this walkout. I'll keep you guys posted on that, but it remains to be seen. This particular action is the result of two organizing groups at the company, a group that formed on Slack as a result of Amazon's return to work policy, and the Amazon Employees for Climate Justice. So And of course, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos owns the Post. And all of this information is actually coming from the Post. So it's rather ironic. Yeah, so this move to stage a walkout comes after Amazon announced in March that it was eliminating about 9,000 more jobs after it had already cut 18,000 jobs in January. And the layoffs haven't been the only unpopular decision that the company has made in recent months. In April, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy, he doubled down on the company's return to office plans in his annual letter to shareholders, even after the company has faced backlash for its mandates that employees must be back in the office for at least 3 days a week. So, question for you guys. Do you work for a company where you were allowed to work from home? Are you still working from home now? And if you had to go back in the office, how would you feel? Let me ask a better question. For those of you who have had to go back into the office, are you planning on staying with the company? Are you planning to leave? Are you planning to walk out? I'd just love to hear from you guys. I've actually read a number of different reports that have indicated that many employees would rather take a significant pay cut. And when I say significant, like a 10% pay cut, just to continue to be able to work from home rather than having to go into the office. So I'd just love to hear from you guys and get a take on that. Now, how much cash should you have stashed at home at all times? Now, we talk about the banks, recent bank collapses, Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic Bank, Signature Bank, Credit Suisse. But the question now is, how much money should you keep on hand at home? Now, digital payments like Venmo, PayPal, Cash App have changed the way that we use and keep physical cash on hand. Now, most people rarely keep cash on hand, much less at home, right? But, there's always unexpected events that could lead to a necessity for having a little bit of cash around, and particularly emergencies ranging anywhere from catastrophic weather, hurricanes, wildfire, to even power outages. Now, if you can't access your digital currency or your CBDC or your cryptocurrency, the question is, how would you get by? Having cash on hand would allow you to at least be able to go get gas, food, medicine, any kind of necessities until the systems and, the power grid came back online. Now, from a security point of view, cash is the most insecure asset that you can have. Keeping it to a minimum in the house in case of fire or theft is a good rule of thumb. But just how minimum is up for debate among financial experts. Now, they're saying here, you should keep enough money on hand to get you a couple gallons of gas, pay for a delivery tip, or to help in unfortunate events, maybe between $100 and $200 at a time. So, what do you guys think? Should you keep $100 to $200 in cash at home? Is that too much? Is that too little? I'm gonna let you guys make that call. Emergency funds should not be held at your home. They should be stored in a high yield savings account of your choice, preferably FDIC insured. Now, McCarty, I should say, framed it in terms of a ratio. So in terms of amount, don't let your cash exceed 10% of your overall emergency fund. So for example, if you have an emergency fund of $10,000, you don't want to keep more than $1,000 on hand in your house. That's basically what he's saying. And it says that you can't deposit more than $10,000 in cash in a given year without raising red flags with the IRS. I think you guys know that because we've talked about that a number of different times. But I thought that, deserved a little bit of, covering again. Kia, I don't know how many Kia drivers, Hyundai, I don't know how many Hyundai automobile owners we have in the audience here. But if you happen to drive a Kia or you happen to drive a Hyundai car, you might want to see if you qualify for part of this $200 million payout. So Hyundai Motor, and by the way, if you guys are getting value out of this video, please share this video with a friend. Matter of fact, share this video with everyone you know. I totally appreciate it. As a matter of fact, if anybody happens to own a Hyundai or Kia, they definitely want to hear about this information that I'm about to share with you guys. So make sure to share this video. So Hyundai Motor Corporation America and Kia America have agreed to a class action lawsuit settlement that is worth approximately $200 million after, get this, numerous complaints that their cars are overly vulnerable to theft. Basically, they're getting targeted for theft. Now, I don't know if you guys have, if anyone watching the show has ever had their car broken into, but it's awful. It is awful, especially if you had something of value in there stolen, or more importantly, if you had maybe your ID in there, maybe your house keys or something like that. It's a total violation of your personal space. Comment down below if you guys have ever experienced anything like that, or if you know anyone who has. Now, this particular settlement will involve a lawsuit involving about 9 million Hyundai and Kia vehicles that in recent months were broken into due to a lack of anti-theft immobilizers, according to the settlement release. Now, the surge in break-ins coincided with several viral TikTok videos where basically users were outlining a step-by-step process on how to infiltrate these cars. Can you believe that? You would leverage platforms like TikTok to teach people how to break in the cars. That is so effed up. I hate this, right? Like, it's just disgraceful that you have people on this planet that think that way. So basically, the car companies are saying that they will compensate owners who incurred theft-related vehicle losses or damage, in addition to reimbursement of insurance deductibles. So if you paid your, I don't know who you have for insurance, maybe you got Travelers or Allstate or Geico for insurance. Basically, these automobile companies are looking to compensate the owners who have paid out insurance deductibles, increased, and also, usually when you file a claim with your insurance company, your insurance premium is going to go up for the year, right? So they're also looking to reimburse victims for insurance premium increases and other theft-related losses. In terms of compensation, owners who experienced a complete loss of their vehicle could be entitled to as much as $6,125. People who had their car or property inside the vehicle damaged could receive a check of $3,375. This is some good amount of money that could be coming your way. In addition to compensation, which varies per car owner depending upon what theft or what damages occurred, Kia said it will provide security software to all owners in order to stop future break-ins and to provide steering wheel locks to customers. Wow. So let me know if you guys own a Kia. Do you own a Hyundai? Clearly, you guys could be up for one of these checks that could be distributed to anyone who happened to be a victim of theft of, one form or another. Customers whose vehicles are not able to install the new security software will receive an additional reimbursement of $300 to purchase their own anti-theft devices. So the more I'm going through this, the more I'm seeing that there's more funds available for different reasons. Again, drop me some comments down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know if you've heard about this, and make sure to share this video with a friend or family member. Share this video with anybody. Now, right now, you should see a video either here or here. Make sure to click that video and check that video out. I really hope that you guys got some good value out of today's updates. If you have, please consider subscribing to the channel and do your boy a favor, drop a like for the video. Totally appreciate you guys. You guys be safe, and I'm going to see you guys on the next one.